Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And in this video, it's going to be another political discussion video. And in this discussion video, I'm going to be talking about my whole opinions on this whole gun control debate after the shootings in Dayton and El Paso. So before I begin, my thoughts and prayers go to the victims who have lost their loved ones or friends in the shootings. My prayers go to them and their families to keep them reminding that all of America is with them and we stand with El Paso and Dayton and and that we are all one big American family. And it's time for all of us as Americans to come together and stand together as one united, and stand united as one people to make this nation a better, a secure, prosperous, and safest place for Americans to live happily, and making sure everyone can make it in America. So I wanted to make this video for a while now because one side wants to push for gun control and the other side is saying it's a mental illness problem, and people like President Trump are blaming the video games for these shootings, the violent video games for these shootings. So I want to get my voice out there where I stand on this issue. So, while I understand people on the left who want common sense gun control legislation, I don't think just banning guns and bump stocks is going to solve the problem why these shootings begin in the first place. But I do agree with them that we should push for common sense universal background checks to make it harder for criminals and the mentally ill from getting guns, while not punishing those who obey the laws, who take it to go hunting, or taking it to shoot at, or taking it to shoot at a shooting range. But I understand where Trump is saying it is a mental illness problem, because people who are not communicative, people who don't communicate, who don't interact with others, are the ones that tend to be involved in these shootings. But I just disagree with Trump that it's not violent video games causing these shootings. I don't understand why he's bringing up this video game stuff. I just disagree with them. Video games are not the reason why these shootings are happening in the first place. Leave video games out of this debate. Violent video games have nothing to do with shootings whatsoever. But I get where this mental ill. But I do agree with Trump and some other right wingers and Republicans that it can be also a mental illness problem also. So here are some of my solutions. I already said that I agree with the left that we should have common sense universal background checks so it's harder for criminals and the mentally ill from getting guns. But we should never be punishing those who obey the laws with guns, who take it to go hunting because that's something they love to do for a sport, or even who love taking it to a shooting range to shoot their firearm. So here are some of my solutions. How can we how can we decrease the amount of shootings in this country? So the first one of the solutions is to really improve upon race relations between whites, blacks, Hispanics, etc. Because in my opinion, I think during this time, the time we're living in, I do think some of Trump's rhetoric is making us want to hate one another and being so totally divisive. I do think it's in some areas. I do think it's Trump's rhetoric that's causing this division, causing this racism happening. I don't think Trump's a racist, but I think his rhetoric is the reason. I think his rhetoric is one of the reasons why the shooting in El Paso happened in the first place. I do think that's one of the reasons. So improving upon race relation is one solution to decreasing the amount of shootings in this country. And another area is refining our K-12 education in our public schools that will encourage all kids to be more communicative and teaching them to work together as a group in school and not leaving anyone behind and making sure everyone is participating in that group. So because usually the people who don't talk to anyone, who don't interact and decide just to be alone all the time, are usually the ones that go on these are usually the ones that commit these mass shootings. So refining K-12 education is another solution to making sure everyone has a voice, making sure everyone has a reason to live in this world, and making sure people feel like they're a part of something, and that will help decrease the shootings in this country. Um, Another thing we can do is by improving upon our representation improving upon representation when it comes to electing representatives in our Congress, in the U.S. Congress, and the state legislature, by achieving proportional representation, like what many European countries use, like Germany, for instance, who use mixed member proportional in their legislature when they conduct elections to elect members in the for the Bundestag in federal elections every 4 years. So way more citizens feel more represented. So like people like blacks, whites, everyone of race, from different ideologues on the political spectrum, they feel like they're going to feel more represented. And when people are more represented, people feel like their voice is being heard in this country. And I do think, and also, in my opinion, I think we also need our politicians like President Trump to do something that will heal the division and focus on bringing both sides back together by making our government to serve as a role model for ordinary Americans, by for the Republicans, Democrats, and Independents to all set aside our differences in government and come together to work together and do what they were elected to do on behalf of the American people, rather than being engaged in revenge politics or partisan games. And let's restore some sense of civility, sanity, and bipartisanship and compromises and common sense when it comes to our government, when it comes to our political system. And we also need to do more in taking care of the mentally ill. We can do this by creating more job opportunities and taking care of the mentally ill and giving them a home to live in with others so they feel welcomed in society, to interact with us, so they know they are a part of something in life. And this goes back to my K-12 education idea. Is that we need to make sure people feel welcomed in our society. We need to make sure everyone is interacting with everyone. They're all joining. Everyone is every single American is in the discussion of how we can make our country a better place for everyone. Being from how we can how we can end homelessness in this country. How can we improve upon make healthcare way more affordable? How can we fix our broken immigration system? Including everyone from different ends of the political spectrum, being from progressive, reactionary, being from conservative, liberal, centrist, libertarian, independent-minded people, making sure everyone is interacting. We're not ignoring anyone in this country. Everyone is making sure everyone's voice is being heard to make this country a better place. And this is what brings me to my final solution is, this is where what I agree with progressives. I do think, in my opinion, that it's okay for us to be inclusive. We need to focus on, in some areas, that we need to focus on including everyone in society, making sure everyone feels welcomed, and that everyone has the freedom, teaching everyone that everyone has the freedom to pursue a life that they want to live in this country, and making sure every single American feels like they're a part of something in life and feels like they can make a difference to our society. They can do something to change our country for the better. I think, in my opinion, so if we push for common sense universal background checks, so it's harder for criminals and the mentally ill from getting guns, while not punishing those who obey the laws, who take it to go hunting or taking it to shoot it at a shooting range. We do it by improving upon race relations, refining our K-12 education in our public schools. I encourage all kids to be more communicative and interactive with others. We can do it by improving upon representation in our Congress and state legislatures, by achieving proportional representation, by implementing MMP when it comes to U.S. House races. We also need to encourage our politicians like President Trump, our governors like Governor Gavin Newsom, which is my governor, to really help us to do something to really heal our division and focus on bringing both sides back together by making our government, from when it comes to U.S. Congress, when it comes to the federal government, the state government, local governments, for all parties, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, just to all come together and work together to do what they will like to do on behalf of the American people, and collaborating with everyone and making sure everyone's is in the discussion of making this country a better place, and I think that will help decrease the number of shootings in this country. Um, and having more job opportunities that will take care of the mentally ill, making sure those type of people feel welcome, and and making sure that we're helping them interact with others so they're getting their voice out there also, and we're making sure we're being inclusive with everyone. But overall, what is your guys' in thoughts? What is your guys' in thoughts on this discussion of how we can end these shootings? Do you agree or do you disagree or agree with my solutions, or do you think we need gun control legislation to solve the problems of these mass shootings? Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, guys, this is the Young Centrist, and I am out.